This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Not sure if you know, but Jeremy McGovern's been in the news this week, Nelly.
God, they should have said something.
Should have, absolutely. But we've got him on the line now. Gov, how are you, brother?
Gov.
Good morning, how are we?
Did you know that you talk of the town this week?
I know, you call me Jeremy Reid.
Tell you what, Sean Darcy's happy about it.
Jeremy Reid, that's a bloody good one,
Yeah.
mate. Yeah, so what's the landscape for you at the moment, Gov? I know there's a lot of questions being thrown out there in the media to coaching at the West Coast Eagles, particularly Andrew McWalter yesterday. What's the state of play for you looking forward?
Look, as pretty much has been really stated, is that I've got to go through the process that's direct to the AFL now, which is obviously gathering a heap of information, and got to have to go over and sit on the panel over with the AFL. But we don't quite have a date yet, so I've still just got to keep resting and making sure I'm doing everything right until then.
That seems extraordinary to me that they can't tell you when this is going to happen. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't
It's hard to get a doctor's appointment these days. Like
that just seems weird, that to keep you in limbo like that. That seems odd to me.
Stressful limbo. How are you feeling?
I'm not too bad. Obviously, we'd obviously love to get over there and get it done as soon as possible.
Some finality,
The AFL's obviously got to get the panel together. There's a little bit into it. It's not as much, not as simple as just rocking up and we got 5 random people.
Yes, it's not like they're sitting there in a room waiting at all times to
No.
to convene.
It's a little bit of a process. So
Yeah.
unfortunately for me, I've got to wait a little bit to find out what's going on. But it is what it is. It's part of it, and I've just got to suck it up for now. And
Gov.
hopefully everything goes well.
2 questions. Firstly, are you feeling 100% at the moment today? And the second part of that question is, when did you get notified? Does it come via a letter from the AFL, or do they call you, or does it come through the club doctor?
Send a footman? What do they do?
No, it comes through the club doc.
Yep.
And it's just obviously that process of I've had a bit of past history, obviously, with it.
Yes.
So I'd imagine it would have been on the AFL's radar and the club doctor's radar for a while. So then obviously the process after that is speak to the AFL, and they mentioned to come. And feeling I'm probably not 100%, but I'm definitely getting better. If you ask me, it's enough to play. But that's what the doctors and the
they're going
AFL
to err on the side of caution. Yeah, you don't want to mess that up.
Oh yeah. I'm actually very grateful. They've been doctors in the AFL have been awesome, but just a little bit of a process.
Yeah. Do people go in front of this panel and then they go, oh no, you're good to go? Or is it tend to be that that's when they make the final call on your career? Is there anybody who's made it through?
Can I jump in there, Gov? I know the answer to this. So Libba recently had to go through the panel, and he was able to play on.
Okay.
They asked him to temper the way he plays. Well, naturally, that's the way Libba plays,
Good
so
luck
he
with
can't
that.
do anything about it.
Yeah.
But if anything happens in the future, then he will, have to go through the panel again, and maybe his career will be done. Previously to that, there's 6 players who went up to the panel that all had their careers
ended, essentially.
Ended.
Yes, they've had to call time on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're obviously aware
Brad
of the
Shepherd
process.
was one of those.
Yeah, you're obviously aware of the process, Gov. And are you scared, I guess, and worried about what they may decide for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Probably not. I don't know about if it's scared, but you're I think it's just coming to grips. So that could be a decision from them.
Yeah.
And that's more sad than scared.
Yeah.
But also, Libba got through, and that's why this is a process rather than the AFL just calling you and saying you're done. That's part of this process, and that's what I need to do to, I guess, plead my case and prove that I'm okay. And but also at the same time, I think the players need to respect that the AFL is really trying to dig deep to make sure they're doing the best thing for us. Which you got to respect, but at the same time, you just love to keep getting it back out there.
Yeah, of course, and that nobody wants to end their career that way. And that's a very human response.
Do you have to take that panel as the final? I'm projecting forward, which we don't want to get to, but you go there in the panel and they say, "Oh, we're going to wind you up. We're worried about your future." Do you get the opportunity to go, no, I don't accept that, I'm going to bring other people in?
Oh, a right of appeal, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually haven't thought about that, Shaun, to be honest. But I think so. I'd imagine so. I don't think it'd be as straightforward as, sorry, Gov, you're done.
Yep.
You can't do anything else. I don't know, but I'd imagine there'd be a bit more of a discussion. I think, and I feel the AFL will give you every opportunity they can, if the opportunity's there. So, so this is new charted territory for me. I've never obviously done this, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it all. But hopefully we can get a date soon, and I'll be able to tell you all the ins and outs.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting from the other side of the fence, certainly. And we're praying that you get through. I'm sure you will, Gov. You did have a run around the other day. Is that just part of your progressing forward?
Yeah, still, obviously I need to stay as active as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If I do come back, or even if I don't, at least I'm not putting on too many kilos. It's just trying to stay active as much as possible, and it's a balancing act with it all, of trying to get as much fitness and everything, and do as much training as you can without stirring you up. So, I've still been running and stuff, but nothing over the top.
Now, Gov,
it's just kicking the footies is killing me, Shawnee.
Yeah.
I can't hang around and kick those footies, but
okay.
That's all right.
Yep.
Now, how's the vibe been? Of course, coming off a win, which has been incredible, and it was a very emotional day last Sunday. But how's everybody doing? Yeah,
everyone's doing well, but also it's been a tough week for the club, and it was a little bit bittersweet in a way. If everyone was stoked about the game, and how well we played, and I think the boys did an amazing job, especially for the circumstances. And then also at the same time, everyone's still pretty gutted about Sellers. But there's the best thing we could have done was win that game and win it for him, and the boys did that. And it was great to see, and it was just great to see everyone with a bit more of a smile on their face.
Yeah, it was like a little bit like the monkey was off the back a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. That's the thing. It probably didn't even feel like that going into the game.
Yes.
I didn't play it, but around the rooms, it didn't feel like we were worried about getting the monkey off the bat. It was just very much a passion game. Like, it was just very much everyone's just seemed like they were going to go out and do everything they can to get a win, and understood that this was an important time for the club, and we needed to do everything we can to get a win. And it was good.
It's such an amazing feeling when you're amongst a group of people, not just in football, but in any part of life, when you can see that everyone is grouped together and everybody's on the same page and they've got the same focus in mind. It's wonderful, and you certainly showed that on the weekend. So all props to the West Coast Eagles. Yeah, it was good. Felt like we were building the last few weeks. We sort of strung half together, or a couple of quarters here and there together, and 4 quarters. It was a big focus, and we got close to that against Saints. So it was great. And then you saw a lot of the young boys obviously coming through, and some of their performances and everything. So it was definitely positive, and everything's at this stage moving in the right direction, which is great. Yeah. Well, hopefully it continues to move in the right direction, particularly for you, Gov. We look forward to you getting back on the track shortly, getting through that medical and back out on the field as soon as possible. No, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
We're the Wildcats.
Getting angry.
Well, should we be angry today? Because we're finding out that the great one, Bryce Cotton, the Wildcats' best ever player, the NBL's best ever player,
five-time MVP.
Whilst we knew he was turned his back on the Wildcats, he is joining the Adelaide 36ers. Lachy Reid is the guy we go to when we're going to talk Wildcats. Of course, you can see him on Channel 10's news as our sports journo, the only person I watch. Lachy, good morning.
Morning. Is it a good morning, Shawnee?
No, it's not.
So. How are you, Lachy?
Look, as a fan, which I am half the time, and Journo the other half, absolutely devastated by the news. You know, as you said, the best player in the competition, the best, one of the best ever, whether it's Ricky Grace or Bryce Cotton of the Perth Wildcats, who knows? But, Yeah, he's gone to an arch rival as well, which hurts even more. So
yeah. We've been betrayed.
Amazing news.
So
amazing news.
Originally, when he said he was leaving, he said he wouldn't go to another NBL club, and everybody was of the understanding he was going to chase some money overseas, and nobody begrudged him that.
Yeah, but we did suspect that if he was to stay, it was going to be Sydney or Melbourne, right? We had that conversation.
Well, that conversation was an April Fool's Day prank that we played on Damien Martin.
He bought it too.
And now it's pretty much come true. It's terrible. This is terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. Look, I mean, you go back to when he did leave, and as you said, did say goodbye to the Red Army, and thanks for having me, and Perth will always be my home, except for the next 3 years, because they've decided that he's heading over to Adelaide. It is amazing news. I mean, this is a team that had all sorts of trouble last year.
Yeah.
They had infighting amongst the coach and players. It was so unsettled during the year, and Bryce is such just a complete professional. You know, he doesn't need any dramas in his life and hasn't had any dramas in his life. And all of a sudden he's chosen a team that caused all sorts of mayhem in the competition last year. It's quite surprising. As you said, if he'd gone to Melbourne United, you would have been angry, but you would have gone, okay, he's going to a bigger market. The brand's going to be a little bit bigger because he's going to a big town like Melbourne. But Adelaide, I still can't believe it.
No, nor can I, Lachy. And I saw Nat this morning. I said, there's no way Adelaide can pay him more money than the Perth Wildcats can.
No, look, they wouldn't be. I mean, it'd be paying very similar. All I say is, and this is only me spitballing, guys, so I haven't really spoken. It hasn't been a long enough time to be able to. Ironically, by the way, I was at a Wildcats quiz night last night. I was hosting it. So wasn't that a fun night?
Oh my God! Did you throw in a question? Good. Who will Bryce Cotton be playing for next year?
Yeah, that was the first question of the night. No, it wasn't. There was too much anger and disappointment around the room, but it was actually a really good night. But just me spitballing.
Yes.
How have they got him? There only has to be a couple of reasons. Is Trevor Gleeson going to be the new coach of the Adelaide 36ers? Have they done a deal?
Yep.
Although I do know that there is a relationship with Mike Wells, who's the current coach. They were they joined each other at about Utah Jazz at the same time when Bryce played in the NBA. So maybe that's not the case. Did he get some shares in the Adelaide 36ers? Is he now going to be an owner of some sort in the Adelaide 36ers? Or somehow they guaranteeing he becomes an Australian citizen, which to me, I'm not sure Bryce was that excited about the citizenship after he missed out on going to the Olympics. So there are a few things that I would like to now know, and hopefully there's a presser in the next 24 hours, hopefully today, and where they describe how they pulled off this coup, because Melbourne were interested, Perth would have offered really good money, and Adelaide, surely they can't blow them out of the park by another $1 million.
No way.
It's quite tight.
So, Lachy, what are your predictions when the Adelaide 36ers come to RAC Arena to play the Wildcats, and how's the Red Army going to be when that happens?
Roscoe, it'll be round one of the NBL season. Adelaide coming to RAC Arena to take on the Perth Wildcats. Guaranteed. The NBL will love this story. They will soak it up. And that clash will be round one of the season. It'll be a packed house. And I don't know. I think 50-50. I think he might get a few cheers because I think a lot of people do appreciate what Bryce has done for the basketball
club. But also we feel
very
betrayed.
Yes, and I think there's a few that feel a little bit betrayed, especially probably the comment he said on our news a little while ago that he wouldn't really think about playing for another team. Then all of a sudden,
Adelaide
2 months later, he's playing for another NBL team. So it'll be mixed. It'll be mixed, like probably a lot of the emotions right now for the Wildcat fans.
Yeah.
God, I think there's a couple of things. I mean, Adelaide, obviously. Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that they have Live Golf and Gather Round all in the World Cup? And
a lot of churches.
And heaps of churches.
He's a
and
good,
the wider streets is very
Christian
important
fellow,
too, do you think?
wider streets.
Look, I don't think it ended really well with the Perth Wildcats as well. So I think he had decided. He got very frustrated over the last 18 months with the Wildcats for various reasons. So I don't think he was ever going to come back.
When you say various reasons, are you alluding to the fact that there was a difference of opinion between him and the coach? Yeah. Yeah,
there were issues. I mean, we go back 18 months and obviously his wife, Rach, got involved in a social media post where she was a little bit critical of the coach and how things were running. Then the coach was re-signed at the club. Bryce wasn't told about that. Now, you don't fall over yourself for your star player, but I think there sometimes has to be some sort of communication there with your best player to say, hey, look, we're thinking about re-signing the coach. And then I just think there might have been some, this is what I've been told, some contract delays that should have been put on the table at certain times, and they probably weren't met at various stages. So, look, the Cats can answer those questions, but those are some of the things that I've been told that have happened. And Bryce probably just was a little frustrated in the end of it. So,
yeah, and if you can get the same money somewhere else.
Yeah, well, it's same money somewhere else at a team that he's dominated with, that is a big fish in a small pond, but it's on an NBL scale. The Perth Wildcats are a big team even on the East Coast.
Yes.
Adelaide 36 is not... since Mark Davis left, the chairman of the boards, they haven't been at the same heights. And Phil Smythe, obviously, with the comb over.
Yeah, the general.
Things have changed. I'm so disappointed, but I'm really disappointed in the Perth Wildcats, and I don't know where they're going to next. I did report the other day, because there was a whisper,
Paddy
that they
Mills.
met with Paddy Mills, but they're saying that didn't happen, Lachy. Is that correct?
No. I have spoken to them several times about that, and they said, I'm not saying there's not interest, firstly, but they said that they have not been in talks with Paddy Mills or his agent. Now, to be honest, Shawnee, I think the only thing that might save him at the moment is get on a bloody plane now, wherever Paddy Mills is.
I
take
agree.
a checkbook and say to Paddy, write whatever figure you want on that checkbook, mate, because you're coming to the Perth Wildcats. We'll do anything possible to get you over there.
We'd feel a lot better about it, wouldn't we?
Now,
I think Wildcat fans would feel all right after that.
Yeah, the problem with the Perth Wildcats is you have to have a big-name player playing for that.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
of
for
course,
sure.
it's Bryce, and he came a bit of left field. We didn't know he was a big-name player until he became a big-name player. But the Wildcats have to start this season with
marquee,
hope. Otherwise, they will become irrelevant in WA sporting landscape.
Yeah, I mean, you had Greg Hire and then you had Bryce Cotton. You had two of the biggest names in basketball. No, you're right. Yes, they do need to. Now, they may be sitting back thinking, okay, we haven't won the championship with Bryce over the last 5 years. We'll go more of a team. We're not going to go for a star player. We're going to go for 3-4 players that are going to try and get us over the line. That could be their change in tact. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of money being spent around the competition at the moment.
Yeah.
And, you've got to make smart decisions. So maybe they're looking for the best starting five as opposed to having Bryce Cotton and then 3 or 4 players
going with the Jack Jumpers
their
approach, yeah?
Yeah, it might be the way they're going. So, look, we can only wait and see. And, they've got really capable people there in the office to try and make these decisions. Danny Mills finds good players, so hopefully he finds another Bryce Cotton out there.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we love your work, Lachy. Thanks, buddy.
Good on you guys.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.